This is yet another controversial video. I'll be presenting some opinions about this topic that will be really controversial, but at the end of the day, please respect everyone's opinions and obviously the lads on MCC Highlights who really put a ton of hard work on these videos. And without a doubt, they did a great job on those videos. No hard feelings or hate whatsoever. Alright, but it's time to discuss those Ace Race videos. MCC 23 introduced a brand new redesigned Ace Race with an approach of more skips than ever before to optimize the map further. With this approach, however, it encourages plenty of studying and VOD reviewing to be better at the maps in the event. And to help guide this, there's one particular popular MCC channel that really dips into that department. But what they might not be aware is what comes after. Welcome to the Evolution, and today we'll be talking about how tiny little Ace Race optimal route videos from MCC Highlights really affect the event. And does it really ruin Ace Race? Not only is Ace Race the talk of the town of this event, there were some slight tweaks in regards to some games. Firstly, Meltdown got a slight tweaks in regards to the doors in the maps, so from now on, there are no ledges to hold on to in the games for the doors. You can't blame Tapo for that change, yeah. Buildbart also got a platform change which would not be seen in play until Pride 23. And to cap it all off, a good memorial is here for the late Technoblade. Now, let's open this can of worms, shall we? So, as I said before, with the new Ace Race approach of skips in the game, to help guide players on those skips, MCC Highlights uploaded a best optimal route video for the initial Ace Race redesign map of Turtle Run. This video covers every single checkpoint, every single skip, and the optimal lap itself. With a couple of people working on this to push this out, they claim the spot to be one of the major sources for MCC tips and tricks, with their Ace Race video being one. This video's aim is to, of course, help guide new players who do not have time to really study the map or have hours watching Ace Race VODs to find out new skips and such, like what some quote-unquote sweats in MCC does. And with Turtle Run being a staple for the next couple of events, the players started to study more, watch more of that video, and some proceeded to fail some of the skips mentioned. Hey, even if you know them, doesn't mean that you can execute them on a day, okay? What you see in the next couple runs of Turtle Run is that everyone goes for the same skip. Waterfall skip, check. The Red Jump Boost skip, check. The Tiki Torch skip, yes, yeah. Everyone is going for the same skips that were mentioned in the Ace Race optimal route video, which comes the first problem with this video. It makes Ace Race stale. Now, you would know already how people would approach this map of Turtle Run. Content-wise, it is really not fun to see people repeating the same thing over and over again. This makes it feel like the original Ace Race design, with people repeating the same thing over again and again, making the game to some people not that exciting to watch when the game appears. Yes, the video closes the skill gap a bit, but the joy of Ace Race of learning as you go is somewhat gone. So then Yeti Set Go came around in MCC 28, with the first run being a learning experience for all. And then a couple of days before MCC 29, yep, here's MCC Highlights again with Yeti Set Go optimal route video. And of course, the same thing I said in Turtle Run applies here. Everyone now goes for the same route. Here's another thing to point out as well. For people who are not a sweat or really don't bother about practicing for MCC or the event, if you don't watch the video, you are very likely not to do well. This really is a disadvantage to people who are just wanting to show up on the day and have fun, and yeah, that video may ruin the vibe in general because of that skill gap that happens. It may also ruin the general purpose of Ace Race, as I mentioned before, where you find skips, learn from mistakes, and then improve event by event. With people taking the same shortcut every time, it makes the map's lifetime shorter when it comes to interest, and yeah, those optimal route videos do not help at all. So the Noxcrew decided to do something in MCC 30.
You'll be seeing the very start of something called alternate routes, introducing a slight change in the route that everyone knows from the original map. That means when we replay maps, you won't know which route to expect, and it'll change with each event, sometimes returning to a previous route, and sometimes to something new.
Yep, there are now alternate routes for maps in MCC. Now, while it was a slow start at first, it threw some people off in a way, as they have a whole new section to learn. And to be quite frank, that feature still doesn't help, as the majority of the map is still left intact and the players, knows the majority of the maps by the video. Total Run got a little bit of a bump when it comes to the interest because of that, but then came quickly back down after players now starting to optimize them. So with that case, after months of development, Clouds 2, the longest map in Ace Race, is here, and it is a map that has more room for error. Now this map is much fresher, despite after being somewhat optimized after Rising 2. And when the map is first introduced, people take different routes this time around. And there's no optimal route video for this map. Well, technically there's an MCC summarized video, which may make the map stale a little bit, but due to the scale of the map, it was brushed off, I think. This map is really one of the favorite maps for some people, as not only does it feel like the old Ace Race view is back with long maps and 3 maps, but it feels like there are still more room for improvement, despite it being ran for multiple times. And the map does not feel optimized yet, as participants themselves still have plenty of discovery to do to help improve their runs, which makes this differ to the 2 other maps I mentioned before. So, do the optimal routes videos ruin Ace Race? Well, there are 2 perspectives. If you think that Ace Race is the game that you want people to really put time and optimize it further and further, then no, they don't. Those videos would really help on that part. But if you think casually about a game, as a game with like a learn as you go aspect, or that you care more about the game casually, and I emphasize that word casually, then yes, they ruin Ace Race. But in general, even though those videos are here to help players with the maps, it shortens the longevity of the maps themselves, making it more stale with people taking the same path every time, as I mentioned before. The approach of Noxcrew doing alternative routes puts the bandage onto the problem, but that does not fix the core problem of the advantage that people would get if they either study the maps for hours or watching the video. So what now? Well, MCC Highlights did release a route video for Clouds 2. This type an average route video with Joe being the center of them all. They claim that this is their last route video, which gives way for some other MCC channels to make them. But the same criticism for MCC Highlights also applies to those channels if they do the same thing. And if you ask, no, I'm not gonna do it for MCC Central. No shot. At the end of the day, Ace Race is a racing game full of skips and shortcuts to discover. The fun in the game is to discover them, learn them, and improve them, as I mentioned many times. And if there's a need for an outside source to give players an advantage in the game, then the game will quickly go stale with almost everyone following the source or going the same path. But at the end of the day, who knows what will happen to the game and everything surrounding the game in the future. Next time, it's time to dig deep into the most controversial game in MC Championship and the reasons as to why they are so controversial and hated so much. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Evolution. Hopefully I don't get cancelled or something. It's all good. Anyway though, this is like also an experimentation where I mixed up a bunch of my IRL footage as well as this footage from the game itself as well. This is like the new style that I want to go forward for Evolution. So yeah, that's it. So next week is gonna be, well, it's gonna be a new series that is not Evolution, but we're back here with Evolution 24 the week after that video. So yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for watching and keep on watching Duechayapol. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.